Boeing is quietly considering one of the riskiest economic decisions in modern aerospace, and a single airline may be forcing its hand. A project most analysts believed was financially dead is suddenly back on the table. Not because technology changed, but because market pressure did. This is a story about capital risk, scale economics, and corporate survival. And it's unfolding right now, behind closed doors in Seattle and Dubai. To understand why this matters, we need to look at what happens when growth collides with physical infrastructure limits, and what companies do when all their options are expensive. Why the 777-10 matters. Behind closed doors, Boeing is studying a stretched version of its largest widebody, the 777-10. If launched, it would become the largest twin-engine passenger aircraft ever built, pushing capacity close to the retired Airbus A380, but with dramatically lower operating costs. From an economic perspective, the 777-10 exists for one reason: airport scarcity. Major global hubs are out of slots. Heathrow, Dubai, Singapore, Hong Kong. These airports physically cannot add more flights. Gates are full. Runways are saturated. Air traffic control systems are at capacity. Demand is rising. Infrastructure isn't. When airlines can't add more flights, the only way to grow revenue is to move more passengers per takeoff. This is basic economics. If you can't increase frequency, you increase density. That's the economic logic behind the 777-10. But here's the problem. Building an aircraft this size is expensive. Certification is brutal. And the market is tiny compared to narrow-body jets. So why would Boeing even consider this? The answer lies in what happened at the Dubai Air Show just a month ago. Why Boeing walked away before. This idea is not new. Boeing studied a 777-10 stretch years ago and confirmed it was technically feasible. The engineering was sound. The aerodynamics checked out. But feasibility doesn't mean profitability. According to Boeing's commercial marketing vice president, more than 1,000 large wide-body aircraft need replacement in the next 15 years. A fraction of the narrow-body market, which moves tens of thousands of units. Development costs for a new wide-body variant run into billions of dollars. Certification is complex and time-consuming, especially for an aircraft pushing the boundaries of twin-engine performance. And even minor delays can destroy margins. At the same time, Boeing was already dealing with major program delays across its portfolio. The 787 Dreamliner had manufacturing issues. The 737 MAX grounding cost Boeing $20 billion in direct costs and over $60 billion in indirect costs. The 707X certification has been delayed to 2027, 7 years behind its original 2020 schedule, with program cost overruns reaching roughly $15 billion. So the 777-10 was shelved. Not because it couldn't be built, but because the economics didn't work. Boeing's capital was tied up. Its engineering resources were stretched. And the business case relied on a customer base that might not materialize. Until one airline changed the calculation entirely. Emirates changes the economics. That calculation changed at the Dubai Air Show in November 2025. Emirates placed an order for 65 additional Boeing 777-9 aircraft worth $38 billion at list prices. It was one of the largest single orders in recent aviation history. But the critical detail wasn't the order itself. Emirates formally agreed to support Boeing's feasibility study to develop the 777-10 and secured options to convert its latest 777-9 order into the 777-10 or the 777-8. This wasn't a casual expression of interest. This was a formal commitment with financial implications. In economic terms, this is vital. Large industrial programs live or die on early demand certainty. When you're betting billions on development, you need to know customers will actually buy the product. Launch customers reduce risk by signaling market validation before production even begins. By stepping in as a potential launch customer, Emirates dramatically reduces Boeing's market risk. It provides demand visibility that makes financial modeling possible. It gives Boeing's board something concrete to evaluate. This isn't just interest, it's leverage. And it works both ways. Emirates needs this aircraft more than Boeing needs to build it. Which brings us to the question, why is Emirates so invested in making this happen? Why Emirates needs the 777-10? For Emirates, this aircraft isn't optional, it's existential. The airline built its global dominance around the Airbus A380, using massive aircraft to maximize capacity at slot-constrained airports and funnel traffic through Dubai. The A380 became the backbone of Emirates' hub-and-spoke model, moving 500 or more passengers per flight on routes where frequency was impossible. This strategy worked brilliantly. Emirates became the world's largest international airline by revenue. Dubai became a global mega-hub. The economics were elegant. Use high-capacity aircraft to overcome infrastructure limits. But that strategy has a problem: time. Emirates plans to continue operating its A380 fleet into the 2040s, with President Tim Clark stating the airline will keep them for another 16 years, with final retirement around 2041. These aircraft are aging. Maintenance costs are rising. And Airbus has ended production permanently. There will be no new A380s ever. Without a high-capacity successor, Emirates risks losing the scale advantage that defines its business model. Switching to smaller aircraft means either flying more frequencies, which Dubai's airport can't handle, or accepting lower capacity, which erodes competitive positioning. Neither option is acceptable. Supporting the 777-10 is a strategic hedge, a way to preserve future network economics. It's not about wanting a new plane. It's about survival in a slot-constrained world. But Boeing faces a completely different risk calculation. Boeing's biggest risks. For Boeing, the risk is enormous. A twin-engine aircraft of this size faces extreme certification requirements, particularly around single-engine failure during takeoff. Regulators demand proof that if one engine fails at the worst possible moment, full load, hot day, high-altitude airport, the aircraft can still climb safely on one engine. For the 777-10, which would be longer and heavier than any previous twin-engine jet, these tests are expensive, time-consuming, and unforgiving. Every additional foot of fuselage adds weight. Every pound of weight reduces performance margins. And every failed test means redesign, delay, and cost overruns. Boeing's balance sheet has little margin for error after years of financial strain. The 737 MAX grounding alone cost over $20 billion in direct costs. The 777X program has accumulated roughly $15 billion in cost overruns, with the latest delay adding a $4.9 billion pre-tax charge. Cash reserves have been depleted. And even if successful, the 777-10 would never be a high-volume aircraft. This is not a growth product. This is not the next 737. This is a strategic product serving a niche market, protecting Boeing's position in high-density, long-haul travel and preserving relationships with key customers like Emirates. The return on investment is uncertain. The development timeline is long, and the competitive environment is shifting in ways that make delay even more dangerous. Airbus gains while Boeing decides. While Boeing debates risk, Airbus is moving decisively. At the Dubai Air Show, Airbus secured major deals across both narrow-body and wide-body markets. Airlines that once exclusively ordered Boeing aircraft are now diversifying their fleets with Airbus products. These moves reflect shifting risk perception. Delays, quality concerns, and regulatory scrutiny have weakened Boeing's competitive position. The 737 MAX crisis damaged trust. The 777X delays created uncertainty. Production issues across multiple programs raised questions about execution capability. Airbus now holds a significantly larger order backlog, especially in the most profitable aircraft categories. It's delivering planes on time. It's meeting production targets, and it's gaining market share in segments where Boeing once dominated. The balance of power is shifting, and every month Boeing delays a decision on the 777-10 is a month Airbus solidifies its advantage. But there's a deeper question here that goes beyond market share. The real economic question. So the question isn't whether Boeing can build the 777-10. It's whether Boeing can afford not to. Walking away protects cash in the short term, but risks ceding strategic relevance in high-density long-haul travel. If Emirates and other hub carriers shift to Airbus for their future wide-body needs, Boeing loses influence in a market segment that defines global connectivity. Moving forward means betting billions on a narrow market, but preserving influence where global hub economics are decided. It means maintaining a relationship with Emirates, one of the world's most important airline customers. And it means signaling to the market that Boeing is still capable of large-scale industrial execution. Both options are expensive. Both carry risk. And neither guarantees success. This is the reality of capital-intensive industries when growth hits physical limits. Companies are forced to make billion-dollar bets with incomplete information, knowing that inaction is itself a decision with consequences. Boeing's choice will reveal how the company sees its future, as a defender of market position, willing to take strategic risk, or as a financially conservative operator, prioritizing short-term stability over long-term influence. This isn't about airplanes. It's about how corporations respond when growth hits physical and economic limits. It's about the tension between financial prudence and strategic necessity. And it's about what happens when your biggest customer needs something you're not sure you can afford to build. These are the decisions that define industries for decades. If you want more breakdowns on global economics, corporate strategy, and the business decisions shaping our world, subscribe to the channel. And let me know in the comments, should Boeing take the risk on the 777-10 or walk away?